happen? Are you an IELTS teacher who's committed to your own development? Well, then you've come to the right place. PD Bits and Bytes is a series of short recordings for IELTS teachers exactly like you. In today's video, I want to talk about how we can actually find out our learners' competency level before we start selecting our materials and teaching. So first of all, let me explain why it is important that we select activities and materials that are of the right competency level. If we select materials and input that is above what students already know, way above what they already know and can do, it's very unmotivating because our brain can only store new information when it's relevant and linked to our prior knowledge. So by selecting materials that are way too difficult, we are overloading the student, called cognitive overload. So to avoid cognitive overload, we want to select tasks and activities that are just above their current level of knowledge. So how can we find out where our IELTS learners are at? I'm going to give you 3 tips. Number 1, you conduct some diagnostic activities. That could be a speaking task, for example, where they record themselves and introduce themselves to you. Wonderful task on the first day that you meet. Tell me something about your previous learning experiences. Tell me something about why you are here and about your future aspirations. Of course, when they do it in the classroom in groups, make sure you monitor closely so you get a very good idea about their strengths and areas they need to work on. This doesn't only give you an idea about the language they have available, such as grammar structures and vocabulary items, but also about the way they structure the cohesive and coherent devices. And of course, you can do simply some reading and listening tasks with them as well. Number 2, negative teaching. I love using error correction. So I give my students a written example of a text, maybe writing task 1 or 2 or just a short paragraph, and get them to spot the errors in the text. We can do the same with listening, and you can put on purpose in, for example, wrong collocations, wrong use of tenses. If students don't spot them, that probably means they are not familiar with those components of the language yet. Tip number 3. To be honest, any activities that you do in the classroom, any tasks they complete, can help you decide where your students are at and what your next step in teaching is. Any activity can be the basis for formative assessment. It really depends on what you do with that data. So if you write down what the strengths are, if you write down what they need to work on, you get a very clear idea where your students are at and what sort of materials are compatible with their current level. Right, so diagnostic testing, negative teaching, and formative assessment, meaning close observations and monitoring of students' activities in the classroom. All these ideas will help you get a good idea of where your students are at, and that tells you where you need to start to get them where they want to be. Well, I hope this was useful. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, click on the link below. And if you have any particular topics related to IELTS teaching you want to know more about, please write them in the comments. Thank you so much and see you next time.